Hello. Welcome to Lawana's Urban Voices. Um, I had a couple of stories I wanted to talk about today, but then I came across this trans man that wanted to give other trans men the secret on how real men behave, what their behaviors and characteristics mean, so that trans men can feel more comfortable being in the men's circle. So this particular trans man worked at a steel mill, and he said that in the course of working at this steel mill, he's observed how men behave, how men go to pick items up off the floor, how they tell inappropriate jokes, which ones had nurturing fathers, which ones did not. Um, he basically had this list that was explaining to other trans men how to negotiate being a part of the men's group. And I'm reading this and I'm like shaking my head, thinking once again, you you're born a woman, you think like a woman, so you in order to be a trans man, you forced transition. Full, he had a full beard, looked like a man. Okay, you wouldn't know he wasn't a man, um, based on the appearance. But because you don't think like a man, you are observing them in their what you call environment, so that you can learn how to better behave like a real man. Um, Surgery doesn't make you the gender that you think you should be. Just note that you are always going to have the hormones within your body that's going to make you think like the gender you were born. Even if you change everything about yourself, you're still a man trapped in a woman's body, or a woman. How's that go? Did I say that right? You're either going to be a man, um, thinking that you're a woman, or a woman thinking that you're a man, but you're never going to actually be the gender that you think you are. Because biology doesn't lie. Men and women, we think totally different. Our emotions are totally different. Our concepts are, if you were raised by your dad, if you're a man who wasn't raised by your dad, all of the characteristics of being a man are internal, just kind of natural instincts. Same thing about being a woman. When women, when they people say that women have this maternal instinct, it's because it's just internally, that's what we are. We're women, and we are going to emotionally think different than men. No matter what happens, you can have all the surgery in the world, you can emulate every man that you have seen, or you can emulate every woman that you have seen, but at the end of the day, you're still a man dressed like a woman, or a woman dressed like a man. That's not going to change. No amount of surgery or hormones are going to change that. You're just going to be the gender that you are at sex, but on the inside. The outside, you'll have the appearance that makes you happy, which you should have the appearance that makes you happy. But on the inside, you're still the same gender you were born. That's just facts. And for this trans man to say he now understands, he now understands men based on just watching them in their natural environment, which is working at a steel mill. He feels like he's cornered the market on how to train other trans men on how to deal with deal with real men. real men. And I'm just like, this community has got to stop. There is a trans woman, follow me with this one, okay? There's a trans woman who states that she's a lesbian. So you're a man with man equipment who dresses like a woman and labels yourself a lesbian so that you can date women. Make it make sense. So basically, you're a man who's attracted to women, but you just like to dress like a woman. Make it make sense. So instead of saying, I like to dress like a woman, but I'm still attracted to women, so technically I'm a heterosexual man who likes to play drag, you say, I'm a lesbian trans woman. That doesn't make any sense. You're a man who likes to have sex with women. You just like to have sex with women dressed like a woman. So you're just doing role playing. That's it. Which, call it what it is. And as we get further into this LBGTQIHATLMNOP community, it just gets, it's starting to become too much. It's starting to become, I want people to be happy with themselves. If dressing like a man makes you happy, by all means do that. If dressing like a woman makes you happy, by all means do that. But don't try and make it seem that because you are dressing like a woman, you're putting makeup on like a woman, you're trying to walk like you think women walk, that you are a woman. You're not. I'm sorry, sir. Same thing with trans men. Just because you have a full facial beard, you look like a man, you dress like a man, you're trying to walk like a man, doesn't make you a man, ma'am. And we've got to just own up to the fact that everybody has, everybody's appearance is their appearance. You look the way you want to look, which is fine, which is grand, which is dandy. It's whatever. But just say what you are. I am a man, but this is my preferred appearance. So much easy to accept that than for you to say, oh, I'm a woman and I have every right as a woman, or I'm a man and watch me walk. I'm a man. No, stop it, people. Stop it. Let's just do the same, female, male. That's it. But you can dress any way you want. You can, outer appearance can be anything you want it to be. Just let's stop with all of this trans men or trans women trying to replace or think they understand the true emotional states to be the gender that they wish they were. Let's stop with all of that, okay? I'm done with that topic because it's just seems like it's never ending and it's just never going away. So I wanted to change topics. So I also wanted to talk about, which I thought was hilarious. Did any of you guys listen to Donald Trump give his final arguments? Oh my gosh. The judge gave Donald Trump this whole list of things he couldn't talk about in his final arguments. Make your final arguments about the facts of this case. And what did Trump do? The total opposite. Made it about a political witch hunt, made it about that um, he was being persecuted for no reason. He didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he just did his normal Trump stuff. And the judge was like, okay, he's like, okay, enough of this rhetoric. We've heard it before. Those are not closing statements. But you know that saying, um, when you represent yourself, you have a fool for a client or something like that. I was cracking up because I cannot believe his legal team allowed him to speak during closing arguments. I just was like, you have got to have the worst lawyers if they allow Donald Trump to speak. It was hilarious to me. So if you haven't seen it, I do recommend you going out there to watch that because it was very entertaining before the judge finally cut him off. The next thing we need to talk about, because we're talking about Trump, and this is where I wanted to go today, was with the political um, kind of message, is next week is the Iowa um, voting for the next Republican candidate. Starts next week in Iowa, guys. Hopefully the weather will be good enough for them to actually get out and vote. The majority of the state has already said they're voting for Trump, but Nikki is doing pretty good in the state. Governor Christie, who last week said he was not dropping out of the race, graciously dropped out of the race, which is good because he wasn't going anywhere with his campaign. DeSantis is like, I got this. Even if I don't win Iowa, I'm winning all the other states. I know I'm going to win Florida. He's already pretty much banking that he's going to win Florida. So everybody now is looking at Nikki Haley as, can she defeat Trump? She's starting to say things about Trump. Um nothing like negative like he's saying about her, but she is saying that for our country to run efficiently or effectively, we do kind of need to get not allowed to, we should not elect Trump again, is what she's saying. We need to elect somebody who can actually do the job, who actually has experience in politics, which Nikki does have. Um, the former governor of South Carolina, she was also, I think, Secretary of State for a while. So she's a smart cookie, and she's saying that we need to let this whole thing go with Trump, guys, and we really need to get a leader in there that can really make some changes in a positive manner for our community. I think if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in the same boat as we are with Biden. Republicans hate Biden, so they won't agree on anything. Democrats hate Trump, so they're not going to agree on anything. So we're going to be another 4 years of not being able to get anything done because both parties are not working together. They're actually working against each other because of their dislike for either Biden or for Trump. And we really can't afford another 5 years of this toxicity that we have going on in our country. We just can't do it for another 4 years. And we can't bring Trump back because when Trump was in office, that's when all of your Karens and Mikes came out and things got way out of hand. We can't have that either. Um, most of the insurrectionists are banking on Trump getting elected so that way they can get all their sentences commuted. He's going to pardon all of them, is what he said. So we'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, we got to be watching these races really carefully because now we're down to three candidates. DeSantis technically should drop out and let it just be between Nikki and Donald Trump because I do believe that Christie's followers might go after Nikki or might follow Nikki, but Governor Christie hasn't endorsed one candidate or the other. DeSantis, I think his fans would be more towards Trump. So it would be a little bit more level if he was not in the race anymore. So you gotta think about that because it's gonna get down to the next few months of everybody voting to find out who's going to be the next Republican candidate and who's going to actually go up against Joe at the end of this year. Personally, President Biden is too old. He needs to take these 4 years and be glad he got them and turn them over to someone else. But I don't see that happening. They think that he can still beat Trump. He might have beat Trump the first year. I don't think he'll beat Trump for a second term. I don't see that. Um, And a lot of people, myself included, I'm tired of politics. I'm voting. Oh, I'm going to vote. But I'm just tired of the politics. I'm tired of the just the division in our country unnecessarily. I'm just tired of all of that. And I think a lot of it has to do with our political climate that we're in right now. So we need to really start thinking that through and thinking about how we can make some adjustments so that way we are not in this type of environment anymore. So you guys have to keep that in mind too, because we got a lot going on with these elections coming up. Um, the last thought I have for today, and normally I try to do one thought a day, but today is Friday and I'm walking into a 3-day holiday. I don't know about you, but I am off on Martin Luther King's birthday. Whoop, whoop. So, with that being said, I have all these things running through my head that I need to share. One of the things I wanted to share out of I think it was Fort Smith, Arkansas. There was these four boys sitting at home playing video games. One of the boys' mom mentioned that she thinks there's some suspicious kids outside the house, and she thinks they just stole packages from her neighbor's house. Her boys, they're all seniors in high school. So I say boys because they're young men, but they're all seniors in high school playing a video game. Here's what their mom says: jumped up, run outside, catch the guys with the packages that they just stole, follow them and say, hey, y'all need to return those. And then proceeded to make these two young people who stole the packages take them back to the house they stole them from. And it's all caught on video. It's all caught on video. It's like, and the mom is like, I'm so proud of my boys. And I'm thinking to myself, as great of a story as that is, it could have went real bad real quickly. You know what I mean? Luckily for these young men, it didn't. And I'm so proud of their character that they felt the need to go protect their neighbors. Um, but be careful when y'all do stuff like that because it doesn't always have a happy ending. Um, it just doesn't. So I admire and I appreciate what they did. And I'm so grateful that none of them got hurt because been it could have been totally a different story by them following these young men. We don't know if these young men were armed, if these young men had any kind of weapon that would have hurt these young men, who of course had to be pretty good young men because they went out to save their neighbors' Amazon boxes or whatever boxes they had. And that was really admirable of them. But all I can say is be careful. Just make sure that you are um, being careful when you go out to be a good Samaritan because a lot of good Samaritans have lost their life and it's heartbreaking. It's really, really heartbreaking. So just be careful going forward in the future. And the last thing, which I wanted to talk about yesterday and I didn't do a video. My apologies, guys. Please don't stop listening to Luana's Urban Voices or tuning in every couple of days. I appreciate that. Um, I came across a story earlier this week about these four prison guards, female prison guards. I got to be very clear with this. Four female prison guards pregnant by the same inmate. No words. Four female prison guards pregnant by the same male inmate. This male inmate had those women so stigmatized that they was smuggling all kinds of contraband into that jail for him, and he was making all kinds of money. Okay? And these four women, at some point in time, and they didn't say if they worked the same shift, if they didn't work, it didn't even say. It didn't even really matter. You have four women that you raw dogging, and now all four of them are pregnant at the same time, and you doing like 17 years in prison. What were they thinking? What were these women thinking? Here you are with a job to do, and you let some man in prison sweet talk you out your drawers, get you pregnant, cause you to commit crimes in the process. So now, even though you're pregnant and you've now lost your job, and now you're going to be charged with a crime because technically, and I can't remember, and I have to think about this, but when a inmate is in jail, they're not supposed to be able to consent to have sex with prison guards. They're not, because the prison guard job is to watch them. So consensual sex is not even an issue. So then I got to thinking, is this common? I'm beginning to think that maybe male guards should only guard male prisons and female guards should maybe only guard female prisons, because I did some little background check and guess what? There was a ton of female guards having sex with their male inmates. One one lady even waited for her inmate to get released. She lost her job, didn't care. When he got released, they got together. Like, and these women, in my opinion, aren't unattractive. I mean, they're not unattractive women. They're nice looking women. They are women that I don't understand why you would settle for a man who's in prison with the felony, who's possibly, and some of these women were having sex with men who's doing lifetime sentences. They are having sex with the inmates, that's got years of time to do. But you're a female guard and your job is to guard these prisoners, and you're finding time within your shift to get busy, to do the horizontal dance. Really? What could a inmate say to these women to make them potentially lose their job? These four pregnant guards are probably, going to have to do a little bit of jail time. So that means they're not going to be around their babies. And all four of their babies are siblings. So I know when one woman has babies that are less than uh, a year apart, they're called ghetto twins. So what do you call a a man who has four women pregnant at the same time and all the babies are going to be the same age? And now these women are possibly going to go do jail time because they were illegally helping this man. They were smuggling stuff into the prison for this man. I'm like, let me tell you what, that man's stuff must be off the chain. He must be slinging dick left and right. He has got an anaconda down there and had those women straight bugging. Because why else would you risk everything for a man in jail? I don't know. Um, One of my cousins told me to look at the show Lockdown Love or Love After Lockdown or something like that. And I noticed there were quite a few shows on TV about women and men finding their better half that's in prison. Really? I never thought about being a pen pal with a prisoner, but now that I think about it, very interesting. Um, Very interesting to be a pen pal with a woman. I mean, pen pal with a prisoner. Ooh, I'm telling you that story has got me all kind of messed up. But I just thought those were some interesting stories I wanted to share with you guys today. Give you my opinion, give you my thoughts. Lawana's Urban Voices is all about Lawana's urban voice. So just so we understand, please do continue to give me comments. I love the comments that I get. I'm so excited. I do know that um, I am getting some views. that makes me excited and happy. So as always, please have a friend refer. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. But just having a place to kind of give my quirky opinions about things, I like it. And the fact that I get a few people listening to what I have to say makes me feel pretty good. So I want to say thank you very much for tuning in to Lawana's Urban Voices. Um, like I said, we're going into a 3-day weekend. I will keep you guys posted if anything really happens. I am going to be under a ice warning, so I'm gonna pretty much be stuck in my house, probably trying to find some show to binge watch. Um, so if I do come across any crazy stories, I'll be glad to share. I do believe next week, though, when I come back to do some of my little podcast, I do want to ask questions and see what your responses are. I'm gonna give you guys some pretty interesting topics and let's get a discussion going, okay? Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I had so much to cram into this little video, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to all of it. Have a great, wonderful holiday weekend. If you're off on Monday, lucky you. And thank you for always tuning in to Lawana's Urban Voices. Thank you. Bye.